Can we talk about how performance metrics, how that can improve a culture in a business, and how it can also have a negative effect on culture in a business?
Well, I think the common mistakes I see is there's just too many KPIs. You know, analysis paralysis, you say all the time, right?
Yeah.
You just give them so many things, and your managers are blinded by the actual goal of the target, which is to grow the company or have a healthy bottom line. So a lot of people tend to take it the wrong way and say, look, I want to track all these 10 things. But actually the main one thing is the most important. Like going back to hospitality again, you say my main goal is to raise sales, increase your weekly sales amount. You tell them all these other KPIs. I want the kitchen clean. I want the chairs stacked. I want the sun not shining. I want your blinds clean every single day. But what about the food costs? What about the wage costs? You know, there must be some sort of weighting around KPIs.
So too many KPIs is negative?
Yeah, and maybe just not emphasizing the weighting of certain KPIs to your managers.
Right, yeah, I think that's an important one, right?
They say, okay, your sales is 80% weighting. You got to focus on that stuff. That is your bonus.
I think as a business owner, there's no like if you gave me all of the data, I'd be stoked because like I couldn't kind of then figure that out. But if you go and deliver all of that to the team, you could like really upset them, and this is where you're driving.
You won't do that.
Well, people would without if you don't think about culture and go, okay, what is that?
Yeah.
Because how someone receives it as an employee or a person working in a business, any business, they'd go, what does that mean for me?
Of course.
Like, oh shit, sales are down. Oh, why are they measuring that? Like, we always like thinking we're not worried about if you're in a job or not in a job. We're just like, how do we grow the business? Like, we understand that. So, if you're going to create a KPI, make sure it fits in with your culture and it breeds the right behaviors.
Oh, and it's through the team's control as well. Like, if our team don't do sales, they just do operational stuff, and we're the salespeople. They don't care about the sales KPI. It doesn't really affect them.
You got to give it to the right person.
But and it's the same as like if you set someone a sales target and they're not sales driven, and then you go and then they hit that number, and they go, they'll feel demotivated, right? So you got to kind of get the right metric for the right person too.
Yeah, can demotivate people.
Yeah, so that's important. Like, I love data. Like, you should have as much as you can in terms of metrics.
I like what you talk about in terms of weighting. So the first bad thing is that there's too many KPIs, but the second thing you talked about is if there's not enough weighting given to a certain KPI, then it causes people to focus on the wrong thing. And the reason I like the weighting is because, like you said, if it's 80% and there's 9 other things, so that means 20% over 9 things. What's the point of measuring those 9 things?
Of course.
Because there's time that gets taken into measuring, right? So administration time or even just brain space. Just don't measure it. Yeah. It's almost easier.
Say it takes an hour for the most important thing, 8 hours, but it takes 9 hours for the rest.
Yeah, what's the point?
Don't worry about it.
Don't do that.
And this is funny when you have like layers of people, right? Because the business owner's not in it, and then you got people preparing it, and then they're just spending all this time preparing data, not understanding what the meaning of that data is. So like, actually, I mean, if I was in a business, I would go, do you actually want this, or why do you want it? So then I can go and prepare it for you, and what decision you're going to make off the back of it. Because it's pointless. Like, you can report. I see this all the time. Like accountants, your GP's X. What the fuck does it mean? Like. What does a GP percentage mean to a person in their business? Like,
probably not much.
Yeah, it's the reason everyone does it. It's because you just divide 2 numbers by each other and it's done.
Yeah, like that's the one that gets me a lot. It's like, do you actually understand that number? Yes. Like, but it's the accountant's trick for some reason. And then it's like, I'll be going to improve your GP.